Hey everyone, today I just wanted to sit down and tell you guys about everything I've done so far to plan my wedding. We're about 5 months out now, I guess a little under 5 months, because we're getting married in November, so it's currently June, and I just want to tell you guys about everything we've done so far because we're kind of the first couple, one of the first couples to get married out of all of our friends. We really are just swinging things. I'm sure a lot of couples who are getting married feel this way. For most of us, it's our first time doing it, and we're just kind of winging it. So we're getting married in Georgia in November 2026. So that's just kind of our frame of reference. We have about 150 guests coming, and we're trying to stay around or under $20,000. Not sure if we're gonna actually get that budget goal, but we're getting pretty close, and just wanted to give you guys a little frame of reference for everything before I kind of dive into all the planning so far. So we got engaged May 2025 and wedding November 2026, so longer engagement. I'm gonna take you guys back even before we got engaged. So I was never really the girl who thought about her wedding very much, because I remember in college I would just sit on the couch with my friends and just talk about their dream weddings, and they had everything planned out, and I was just not one of those people. I never really put too much thought into my wedding until December 2024 / January 2025. At this point, I knew 2025 was most likely going to be the year that we were going to get engaged. And in December 2024, I had to get 2 different surgeries for my hip, so I couldn't work, couldn't do anything, was completely bedbound that whole at least 4 weeks. So I got to do a lot of thinking, and that was the point when I started thinking about my wedding. I decided my wedding colors. I knew I wanted a fall wedding, so I kind of decided fall 2026 was most likely when that was going to be. From then to May 2025, obviously didn't really do anything. We got engaged that same weekend because we were on vacation. When we got back from that weekend, we immediately started doing our guest list. We were just excited more than anything, but that was the first real step that we took in planning, was making our guest list, writing down everybody we knew we wanted to come. And obviously that list has grown a lot because you're just thinking about your immediate family and your friends that you want to invite, but then he has a really big family. So we had to start thinking about extended family that was going to be coming. So that list slowly grew over time. Our logical first step that we took after, just the fun, let's think about who we want to invite, was deciding our budget. Luckily, I'm very, very thankful that my parents said that they would contribute to our wedding. So I actually sat down and had the conversation with them about what that actually was going to look like how much they were going to contribute. So I got that number from them, and we kind of started using that as a frame of reference. And then we eventually found out that my fiance's family would help and contribute a little bit as well. So we are very, very grateful that we're having some contributions from both sides of the family. That has helped us so much because we could have been able to afford the event that we want to have on just our own. So very grateful for that. Then we didn't really do much in June of 2025. I knew I wanted to get married in Georgia because that's where most of my family was, and I knew the town I wanted to get married in as well. It's a relatively smaller town, so I was just kind of doing research on venues in June, just kind of looking at what I would want, the price points, all that type of stuff. And I think it was the first week of July, 4th of July week, we actually had 3 venues nailed down that my mom actually went and toured because it was just a random Wednesday and I was in another state at work that day. So my mom very kindly FaceTimed me and did the walkthrough of the venues for me. She told me what she thought of everything, and eventually that weekend we made it up to Georgia and we picked our venue that same weekend. So we ended up picking this beautiful venue, and it did happen to be the cheapest option that we picked. I'm gonna make a video after the wedding kind of going into how much like doing a budget breakdown. So if you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for that video because I'll have that come out soon after the wedding. Out of the 3 places we toured, we ended up actually physically walking through the one that we ended up picking. Multiple factors went into it. The venue was beautiful and the owner of the venue is very, very kind. You could just tell that she loves what she does and she works very, very hard. And I looked at their Facebook and previous weddings and I could just tell it was gonna be the best option for what we were looking for. July 2025 is also when we had our first conversation with our photographer. We are extremely lucky that we have some very talented family members. So the photographer is actually going to be my fiance's sister-in-law. At first I wasn't sure if I wanted to use her. She's incredible, like the most incredible photographer ever. Like I'm obsessed with all her pictures, but just since she's so like close, like she's in the immediate family, I was like, oh, I don't want you to have to feel like you're working on our wedding day, you know, you're a guest before anything else. So I just like felt a bit conflicted in that way, but she pretty much volunteered to do it. I mean, she was like, she was very, very happy to do that for us. And we're lucky in that we don't have to pay full price for a photographer because we would not be able to afford a photographer at her level. So again, super, super lucky, super grateful that we have someone in the family who is willing to do that for us. We didn't really do anything in August, but September 2025 is when we kind of nailed down that the owner of the venue was going to also be our day of coordinator. We talked on the phone a couple times and we brought up the idea and she was very happy to do it. It was something she had offered us, but we just hadn't given her an answer. So that's kind of when we nailed that down, decided that, got the price for it and everything. We also decided to have her be our decorator, so she's gonna help us put all the decorations together, you know, the centerpieces, all that type of stuff. She's gonna help us do that. That's obviously an additional service she offers, so we are paying her to do that as well. October was our engagement party. This was so much fun. My fiance's dad and stepmom put it on for us at their house. They decorated it all. It was pizza and beer themed and they totally went above and beyond. We were so, so, so grateful. It was the most fun I've had in a very long time, man. That was just a really fun day. And that same day, I also did my bridesmaid proposal. So I gave all my bridesmaids a little box and nothing too crazy, nothing like super social media worthy, you know. It was more just a cute sentimental thing for each of my 4 bridesmaids. I don't think my fiance did it all at the same time the way I did, but this was also around the time where he was telling his groomsmen. He'd already told his best man that he wanted him to be the best man, but I think this was kind of the time where he was telling his other groomsmen. I also had my first conversation about hair and makeup. Once again, my stepmother-in-law will be doing my hair and maybe my makeup. I haven't decided yet. I might just do my own makeup. But she also kind of volunteered to do that as well. We had that conversation the same weekend. November 2025 is when we started nailing down other vendors. So we had our caterer nailed down, our florist, and our cake maker. We started talking to them, started discussing what we wanted with them, all that type of stuff, like with the menu for the wedding we were wanting to do. We have a local restaurant at where we're getting married, catering, and the owner of that restaurant is actually friends with the owner of the venue. So small town things, you know, it worked out really conveniently. So we have a connection that way. We got quotes for all 3 of these vendors. We kind of got inspiration for what they are going to do for us and how it'll match up to, you know, my vision for how I want everything to go. November is when we decided the date of the bridal shower as well. So my mom and my mother-in-law are going to be throwing that for me. And we just kind of talked about it, decided a date for that. And at this point, we were a year out from the wedding. And I feel like we already have done a lot. I remember at the time everyone was asking me what all we'd done, and I was telling them like, well, we already have the caterer, the photographer, the hair, maybe the makeup, cake, like I was like, we already have all these people. The biggest thing that everyone was saying I needed to go ahead and do next was get my dress, which leads me to January 2026. I did get my wedding dress. I went to David's Bridal out of all places and I tried on probably about 6 or 7 wedding dresses And the first one I tried on, I actually really liked, and it was my favorite for a while. There was one dress that I tried on and everybody loved it on me, and I told them from the start, I was like, I do not want a mermaid style dress. I just don't like how it looks. And then of course the dress that they put on me is this huge glittery sparkly mermaid dress, and I was like, oh my gosh. And everyone I was with loved it. My mom, my sister, my mother-in-law, and my friend from college who's one of my bridesmaids all came, and they were all like, oh my gosh, like it's so beautiful, this is the one. And I just didn't like how it looked on me. I thought I looked good in it, but it just didn't feel like me. It was too much, and I'm proud of myself for sticking up for myself, even though everybody loved it and everyone wanted me to get that dress. I was like, nope, this is not my vision. I don't like myself in this. It's not me. And eventually I tried on a dress that I just fell in love with. And everyone says when you put on your dress, you're gonna know it's the one. And in my head I was like, come on, like there's no way that's true. I put it on and I saw myself in it and I was like, oh girl, I was like, I look good in this one. This is the one. And so I guess like I did have that feeling that everyone was talking about. I was like, I just couldn't stop smiling. I was like, dang, yeah, this is my favorite one so far. And then I went back and put on the first dress I liked, because that one was more like what I had saved on Pinterest, and it was the one I was thinking about the whole time I was trying on dresses. So I put on my first dress again and looked at myself, and I was immediately like, no, that other one is it. That other one takes the cake. So the very first place I went to, the first day I went wedding dress shopping, I found my wedding dress, and we bought it the same day. We bought the dress and the veil. I also picked out my bridesmaid and my flower girl dresses at this time. I knew what my colors were gonna be, and I've been looking at some dresses. I'm old-fashioned. I wanted everyone to wear the same dress. I have no problem. I think the same color with different styles, or I think different matching styles, I think it all looks good. But for my wedding, I wanted everyone in the same dress. So I ended up picking that out, sent it to my bridesmaids. We actually made a revision. I don't remember when that happened. I think maybe it was in March or April. But that's when I picked out the first dress, and then I was like, actually, never mind. I want you guys to wear this dress. And everyone unanimously agreed that they liked the second dress better. But this is when I started at least sending them out. I knew the flower girls, and we're not having a ring bearer. It's gonna be a girl, so I don't know if it's like a ring bearess. We've just been calling her the ring holder. But we also, had dresses for them, so I went ahead and sent it to their parents. Also, this is when the bachelorette planning begins. So we planned out, I decided everyone who I wanted to come. My sister, made a group chat with everybody. We went over some dates, and that's just when all that started. Last but not least, in January, I also secured my DJ. Once again, I have a friend who is in the wedding DJ business, so I reached out to him. We did a quick phone call about it, and I had them secured. But the nepotism is going crazy in this wedding planning process. After that, I went a few months without really doing anything. Even now, I'm kind of at a weird point where I'm like, okay, I have all the big stuff done, and it's not really time to do like the little stuff yet. In April is when we sent out our save the dates. So that all was kind of done. End of March, beginning of April, we were making them. My sister actually made the save the dates. Back in October is when we did our engagement shoot with my future sister-in-law, who is also doing our wedding. So we did that back in October, actually the same weekend as our engagement party. And then we used those pictures for the save the dates and the invitations. And the save the dates went out in April. We didn't mail the save the dates. We just sent pictures. We just texted the picture to everybody, which honestly kind of was a disaster, but I'm gonna save that story for a video I might make in the future about just things I wish I did differently, stuff like that, because that's like the main one so far, but I just know there's gonna be more things that come up where I'm like, dang, I shouldn't have done that. So saving all those little stories for a future video. April is also when I reserved the chairs for the ceremony. The venue provides tables and chairs for the inside of the venue, but since we're doing the ceremony outside, I had to go to a vendor and rent chairs from them. So that's, you know, very fun stuff, renting chairs. May 2026, we finalized the details for the bridal shower. We, as in my mom, my sister, and my mother-in-law. I didn't really have anything to do with that because they're so amazing and they're planning it all for me, but that's when I know those details were finalized. May is also when the bachelor trip started getting planned. So my fiance reached out to his friends that he wants to take on the trip, and they started discussing dates and like Airbnbs and stuff, which brings us to this month, June. I haven't done anything yet this month, but my bridal shower is this month. And then also we're finalizing details for our honeymoon that we are hopefully gonna book by the end of this month, because that's probably something we need to do soon. But yeah, that pretty much brings us to today. Like I said, I'm in just like a weird spot. Like I have all the big stuff done, so now I'm just kind of in this like waiting period of, oh, there's things I don't really need to do until, you know, the 2-month or the 1-month mark. And just, so I'm just kind of like sitting here just antsy, like what else do I need to do? If you've planned a wedding, if you've been married and you have any ideas of what I should be doing at this time, let me know. If you have any advice, leave them in the comments. But that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Obviously, as we get closer to November, the wedding content will increase, so let me know if that's what you guys want to see. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and I'll see you in the next one.